Hi everyone, welcome back to the Gypsy Caravan. I'm Shan. So yes, I am like that ex that keeps saying, don't worry, I'll change. I'll, be back. And I cannot promise you how long I'm going to be back on my channel for. Because life gets ahead of you, but it's okay. But I'm going to do my best to get out a couple of consistent videos now that I am home for a couple of months before we jet off again. But I will try my best to be a little bit more consistent on both my channels. Speaking of channels, before we head into today's video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is the Gypsy Caravan, for beauty and like makeup related content. And also don't forget to follow my other channel where I post my more travel vlog style type of videos. That will be linked down below because you cannot put two channels in one video, which kind of sucks. Also, don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. If you want to follow more beauty related content, I am under this handle right here. But if you want to follow more of like my travel stuff and like the behind the scenes of tours and things, I will be under this handle right here on everything from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook to MySpace. I'm joking, that doesn't exist anymore. So now that admin-y stuff is all out the way, let's get into today's video. I'm going to be showing you how I normally do my face for a show. And yeah, I don't know, I've just changed the way I've been doing my skin and makeup for show days and adapting it to the kind of shows that we've been having, and I'll explain why that is important in the video. So let's get to it. I'm just going to show you how I normally do my face for a tour, and normally I try and do my routine or get a routine that's good enough to be able to do in any lighting, in any situation, be it in the car, at the hotel, quickly at the venue. However, it just needs to be fast. And I have managed to get this routine down to 30 minutes, but this video is not going to be 30 minutes because I'm obviously going to be walking you through everything. Anyway, so for starters, let's start with skincare. I have washed and exfoliated my face already, but I haven't done any skincare because I feel like that is an important part of this makeup routine. So after washing and exfoliating my face, I go in with a serum. This is from The Ordinary. It is Buffet. It is the Buffet Multi-Technology Peptide Serum. I normally do about half a dropper. It's about that much. And I just go in and massage this into the skin. Facial roller, this is just one I got from Cotton On, and it's a rose quartz gem. And I will try and roll out my face for like a good 5 to 10 minutes if I can, or at least until the gem starts getting really, really hot, because it is best when the gem is actually cool. So be sure to either store it in a cool place or preferably the door to your fridge. Next thing on the agenda is an eye cream. I love the Fast Response eye cream from MAC, and I normally do it's almost finished. I like it because it diffuses the dark circles under the eyes. I normally just do about 2 little dots like that. But it also helps to depuff the area. Now, given that I have already kind of rolled out my eyes with the facial roller, this is just going to help extra depuffing of my eyes, because we normally do super late nights and I don't like to look tired the next day. So I'm just going to pat this in on the orbital bone. You don't want to take it too high up because that's not going to work. So you just tap it in along your orbital bone and just pat it in. You want to be super gentle with this area. You don't want to be brash or harsh with it. It's very delicate skin. Just tap that in. Also, how eye cream assists in your makeup and why it's important. Even if it's not an eye cream, just a gentle moisturizer or a little bit of moisturizer in the area, it's just going to hydrate underneath your eyes so that when you apply your concealers and things, it doesn't get creasy or crepey quickly or at all. It's to prevent your concealers from sitting in like your fine lines and things. I'm going to go in with the lip conditioner for my lips. This is the lip conditioner from MAC. And the reason why I do this is because if you put a moisturizer or a lip jelly or a lip balm on your lips well in advance, before you apply your actual lip product at the end, your lips are going to be super hydrated and more moisturized to accept said lip products. Where if you do it before, your lip's not going to be able to absorb it, and it's not going to have that time to just get moisturized and plumped and ready. So it's just good prep to do your lip balm before all your makeup so that it sits better at the end, if that makes sense. Okay, so after that, obviously, good moisturizer. I need a hydrating moisturizer because almost 90% of the time when we do tours, or when we do travel a lot, we tend to always end up in a autumn to winter season. Very rarely are we out during the summer, which means that my skin is super dehydrated, really dry, crusty, tight, that sort of thing. So I need products that are gonna and give me back the moisture that's missing out of my skin. So the first moisturizer that I'm going in with is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Pink Juice moisturizer. I absolutely love this stuff. Plus, I do about 2 pumps. Plus, watermelon, watermelon extract, watermelon, anything in your products is a really good ingredient to have for hydration. Anything that has watermelon in, strawberry in, if I'm not mistaken. I can't really remember, but if it has watermelon in, it's really good for replenishing dry skin with hydration and like locking it in. So make sure you get yourself something with watermelon in if you have super dry skin. Also, I like to take products with me that don't require a lot of tools, because most of the time if I feel like sleeping in the next day, I generally end up doing my makeup in the car, or at least prepping my skin in the car and then doing my makeup when I get to the venue. And if I'm fidgeting with like a lot of tools, it is a problem and a mission, because then I'm sitting with a whole bunch of brushes when I could just be using my hands. So I try and bring it down to the fact that I need makeup that I can apply with my fingers. As a makeup artist, that sucks because I love my tools and I love using my tools for everything. I don't really enjoy using my hands, but it's my own face and I don't really care. Moving on, need an SPF. So I'm using this one because it is a moisturizing primer, but it has an SPF in it. So this is the NYX Bear With Me Sunscreen Daily Moisturizing Primer with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil, and it has an SPF of 30. Now that's not very high, but it's better than nothing. If you want something that's really, really high, I would suggest the Prep and Prime Face Protect from MAC. That is an SPF of 50. Because I am indoors, it is not that much of a big deal, but sunscreen is a big deal. And I normally do about 2 pumps of this. And what's really nice is that this bottle locks, so the pump locks so that you can push and nothing will come out, because I have locked it. This also smells really, really good. And what I appreciate is that, as it claims on the bottle, it doesn't give flashback in photos, and it truly doesn't. I've noticed this. Tested it out. Primer that I've been absolutely loving right now is one that I get sent to me often. It is the Isabella Garcier Insta Glam Primer. It is a blur and perfecting primer with vitamin A and vitamin E. It's in a small bottle because I got sent a sample, but oh my gosh, does this blur and perfect your skin. Also, I've noticed that it grabs onto my foundations and makeup and things. So my makeup hasn't budged in the last 2 weeks that I've been using this, which is incredible. And I also used it, funny enough, I used this on Belinda when we did a photo shoot not too long ago, and her skin looked incredible. Hardly needed to touch up her makeup because the stuff was just Gorilla Glue. I do about 2 pumps. It's a clear like gel, and the minute you like activate it and rub it in, it like mattifies and blurs. Like, you can't really see it, but my skin looks matte. Does that help? No. But anyway, so I've been using this, especially around my nose, to blur and perfect my skin. Not that I need blurring or perfecting, I just used it because I got it sent to me. But it feels silicone-y or like silically on my skin, but it's smooth, which is obviously the point. It's there to smooth out and blur the skin, imperfections and all those things. But oh my gosh, the grip power that this holds is insane. So while my skin sits and absorbs all the goodness, this is about the time that I go in and prime my eyelids. Go back to my trusty Painterly Paintpot from MAC because it does the things. And I normally apply it with a 286 brush from MAC because I like a fluffy brush to apply a primer because it just distributes evenly and it primes the eyelid. It's gonna get like a reasonable amount worth. And I first tap the product on and then just blend that ish out. I try and get it up all the way to the brows, in the lash line, into that inner corner as well. You want the entire area primed because remember, this is not going to just hold your eyeshadow, your eyeshadows and things. It's there to hold your highlight, your inner corner highlight, your eyeliner if you're wearing eyeliner. It's there to hold everything. I set my eye base. You don't have to do this. You don't technically have to do this, but I really enjoy a super smooth surface to work off of. So I'll always travel with like a translucent powder because obviously you use this for your face, your eyes, your entire life. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Sweep and Lock Translucent Setting Powder. It's literally just a white setting powder. And I'm just going to take the exact same brush, 286. I am going to pick up some of that, tap off the excess, and I'm just going to do a very light sweep over the entire lid just to set it. And the reason why I like doing this is because I feel like if you create a smooth enough surface, your eyeshadows and things will just blend out more easily and more effortlessly. Tap. Otherwise, generally, mainly on tour, I will just go in with one eyeshadow and it'll be like a very basic natural eyeshadow kind of look and be done with it. So I am going to show you my most worn natural eye look that works for any tour, and basically all you need is to change your lip color to make it look different. Travel with one palette, one of my small palettes. This is just the dark matter one from Jaclyn Hill and Morphe. I wouldn't specifically take this palette, but I'm just showing you I will go in with a small palette like this on tour that can give me natural and more done up options should I feel like it. Or I will take my spare palette that I normally travel with a 9 insert from MAC. This is a customizable palette. These are just my spares at the moment, but I will empty this out and I will put 9 eyeshadows in that I feel will work best for tour to do a natural look and a more done up look if we're going out or whatever. So I will make up one of these myself, but I'm gonna do a look that I did for the last 2 shows just to make it easier because I feel like I'm rambling. Depends on what bronzer I normally travel with, but I went back to my Bourjois these last 2 weeks just because it's an oldie but a goodie. So this is the Bourjois Chocolate Bronzing Powder in the shade 52, and it literally just looks like a chocolate bar, you can see, and it smells like one too. Kinda. It smells like cocoa powder. But I've been going in with this. So again, 286, good old faithful. I will just swirl it in there. This is a very warm bronzer, so it doesn't actually really work well with my skin tone because it is super warm. But like I said, I had a tan 2 weeks ago, so it did work then. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to buff this into the crease just to warm up the area there. just back and forth with light motions. And once it's in the crease, I am just going to do some circular motions just to blend it out and to diffuse it. If the color in your crease is not quite where you want it, you are more than welcome to go in with more. This is a very customizable look. You do what makes you happy. This is just how I did my face. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit more and just diffuse it. I'm using an incredibly light touch, like I'm barely holding my brush, just to get that color down, and then I am slightly extending it just to create a little bit of a lift in my eye. But essentially that is that. Cool. Okay, so that's pretty much like where we are right now. Put this aside for later. I am in love with glowy makeup, wet looking makeup, healthy looking skin, that type of thing. So this is around about the time where I go in with a pigment. Generally I will have like a pressed eyeshadow that I use, but I've just fallen in love with my tan pigment again, so that's what I'll be using. This is a sample of tan pigment from MAC. I don't actually have the pigment, but it's a really nice bronzy rose gold type of pigment. You can get the big bottle at MAC if you so wish, or I think they sell tan as part of the MAC mini collection. Don't hold me to it, I can't remember, it's been years since I've worked there, but I'm using tan pigment. If I can show you without messing. Oh, it's so hard to tell, but it's a really pretty pigment that you can use for anything, for any event, for any person, for any skin tone, for everything, just everything. I'm going to use my finger to apply this because that's what I did last week, and I'm just going to pick this up right there, and I'm going to push this into my lid just like that, and I'm just going to go back and forth, and then once the pigment is pushed in, I'm going to swipe my finger over it to give it a more metallic look. Ooh, like that. So as you can see, it's a really pretty color. It gives that like wet look on the lid, which I love. I'm then going to go in with that 286 again, and whatever is left, I am just going to pick it up and run this along the edge to connect the lid and the crease together, so that there's no like definite harsh line, because that's not pretty. We need our shit blended. Pretty. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alrighty, so that's where we're going to stop with eyes for now, because that's just generally what I do on the lid. Let's move on down to mascara. I will have a mascara routine posted quite soon on my channel, so don't forget to look out for that. But generally I am not this high maintenance when it comes to doing mascara. It's literally get the mascara on and go. But I have recently re-fallen in love with the extravagancy of doing my lashes, so, and there we are, mascara done. We'll come back to finish underneath the lashes. Let's get right on down now to skin. Let's do skin. Okay, so like I said, I love a really glowy foundation, a very glowy type of skin look, and for me that actually does require a lot of products, but I try and cheat a little, and like I said, as soon as I can make this very travel friendly, over for y'all. So I start off with a glowy primer. I know I have a primer on already, but I like to go in with the second one, which is the glow aspect. So I've been using my Spotlight one from Physicians Formula recently. You can also go in with something like Becca Backlight, or there's another one that I can't remember right now. I'm just going to go in with my Spotlight Physicians Formula, and I'm only applying this to the cheeks. I know it's a primer and it's supposed to go everywhere, but I want an all over glow, so I'm just keeping it mainly to like the outside perimeters of my face and the cheeks. If I can get anything out at this point, one pump, because that's all you need. I'm going to push this into the skin as not to disturb the other primer and products I have underneath all of this, because I need that Blur and Perfect down. Foundations I normally go for are sheer to medium coverage. Something that doesn't really cover, something that's more like skin serum, skincare type. Not a lot of coverage, that sort of vibe, just because I actually don't enjoy wearing foundation, but I love the process of applying it. It's great, I love it. And it's like my favorite thing to do on customers, believe it or not. I love doing skin. So that's what we're going to be doing. But since the lightest coverage foundation I have right now is too light for my skin, and like I said, Face and Body is normally my go-to for that sort of thing, but it's too dark, and the lighter shade that I have is too light. Imagine I need like a C2. So I'm going to go in with my Bourjois Healthy Mix foundation in the shade 51.5 Vanilla Rose. This is what it looks like. I don't think we get these anymore. Also, this is going to be too pink for my skin. I just know it. But the color match is somewhere around where I need to be. We'll just do some additives and things to make it look better. I'm going to be applying it with a damp sponge. This is super important. Again, if I can help it, I'm not going to bring a lot of tools with me. And this is super multi-use. The Bill. This is the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. So I'm going to be doing that. Give this a good shake like I just did. And I'm going to apply directly on the sponge. Just a teensy bit. The tiniest bit. Because this is quite a somewhat full coverage foundation still, in my opinion. And I'm just going to get to work and pressing that into the skin. Yeah, it's decent. It'll work. It'll do donkey. Great. Done. So as you can see, I still have that really nice glow from the foundation and everything underneath it. But also it's not super full coverage. You can still see like my blemishes there. A little bit of the redness in my cheeks and my nose, which is fine. I like imperfect, perfect skin, if that makes sense. It looks a little bit more natural and more like believable, even though you are wearing makeup. Is concealer. Generally, I like to go in with a very like natural concealer where like I'm not brightening or anything, I'm just color correcting, I guess. Lately I've been going back and forth between that and a slightly like brightening concealer, so I'm gonna go in with a brightening concealer today. And my favorite concealer currently is this one by Maybelline. It is, the words are off, so I'm gonna try my best because I've used this so much. It's the Instant Anti-Age Eraser Multi-Use Concealer in the shade 03 Fair. You know this, everyone has been raving about this for the longest time, and I have officially jumped on the bandwagon. So I'm going to use that, twisty, and I'm going to push the sponge right into the inner corner there. Right into the inner corner there, because that's where I need lift. A little bit down the chin, a little bit down the nose for highlighting, and one like boop at the end of the corner of my eye there, just for lift. And now the trick is concealer a little bit more full coverage if it is a more sheerer sort of consistency, is to let it sit on your skin for a bit to thicken up and like warm up on your skin and then blend it out, or you can just blend it out straight away. I like to do a little bit of an in-between where I'll let it sit for a couple of seconds and then blend it out. And yeah, so let's sit for a couple of seconds. And I'm going to use my sponge to blend it out. I'm just going to move to the tip because that's just the smallest part to get in. And blend this out. Again, the less tools I have to do my makeup, the better. As always. Cool, so you can see what the couple of seconds of that concealer sitting on my face did. Again, you can always just blend it out straight away, but this just looks better. Okay, so I still like to keep a little bit of the glow in the skin, but I don't like my stuff being not set. So I'm going to set underneath my eyes with a bit of powder, going back in with that same powder. I'm just going to, with my damp sponge, I know this is a little bit scary, but trust me, it's a really good hack or trick. We are not going to bake by any means. I'm just setting my under eye, but it's a little bit more of a natural finish if I use my damp sponge. So we're going to take the tip, we're going to pounce it in the powder. I'm going to drop the excess on my hand, and whatever is left, I'm going to use that to set right underneath my eye. I'm not going to take it down, I'm not going to do my nose, I'm not going to bake, I'm not going to carve out my face, none of that. I'm literally just using what is on my sponge to set right underneath my eye, because I do not like my concealer moving. So the cream highlighter that I've been loving for years now on end, you cannot tell me this doesn't do the things, is the Cream Color Bases by MAC. Store mine in a custom palette that is an absolute disaster. It's all my spare products, it's all my blushes, all my cream color bases, and like a couple of random things that just lie around. But I'm gonna go in with this guy here. It's called Hush. It is a super rose goldy peachy sort of highlighter. It works well on people with a medium going into a super tan skin. I am quite fair, but I like the effect that this has on my skin. It's like a skin tone highlighter, so it's just going to give my skin a little bit of a glow without adding color. So I normally sit and warm it up in the pan. That's why the pan looks an absolute disaster. Warm it up in the pan, get it all nice and warm, because if you don't warm it up, it's not going to blend over the skin nicely. You want to get it fairly warm so that you can just push it into the skin. Cool. And then once that's on, I just go over with my sponge just to kind of like press it in a little bit more, I guess. Cool. So liquid cream highlighter. It also gives that skin that really like waxy texture, which I'm here for. This is also generally the time I'll go in with a cream bronzer or a cream contour or a liquid bronzer, however you want to see it. I have fallen in love with an old liquid bronzer that I used to use back in the day when I was still working at MAC. They don't do these anymore, but you can use a deeper shade of foundation if you want to, or a cream bronzer or a cream contour. Here's the Face and Body foundation from MAC. They did this in the Mirage Noir collection. That's why the lid is different, and the color is called Light Pearl. So I'm going to just drop a small amount onto my sponge. You can see like it's not much darker, but it just has a really nice bronzy shine to it. And I'm going to use this to bronze up my cheeks. Kind of dab it in everywhere. It's also super glowy, so it's not going to take away from the glow on my skin. While the face is settling right now, let's go in and do the brows. I will be doing an updated brow routine because I feel like it has changed a little and the products that I use are slightly different, so be sure to look out for that soon. I will be doing a brow tutorial, but just do your brows how you normally would. So yeah, I'm gonna do my brows quickly. See you soon. Okay, now that my brows are done, you can see it's defined fluffy. Let's finish underneath the eyes. We're gonna go back in with that bronzer, and yes, you guessed it, back in with that 286 brush, and we are just going to go underneath the eye with some bronzer just to warm up that area too and connect it to the outer corner. It is a big brush, so it can be a little bit scary, but if you just start with a light amount of product and just create a diffuse like that, you'll be good. If you don't like it that much, you can always go in with a smaller blending brush, like a 217 from MAC, or you can go in with a detail brush, which is a pencil brush like this. This is a JH39 from the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Eye Masters collection. You can go in with something like that if you're a little bit nervous about the really diffused eyeshadow. So then I'm just going to clean off the brush a little bit so that it's like kind of clean, and I'm just going to go over the edges, whoops, just to soften and diffuse and lighten and make it look less scary. You can totally call it a day and leave your face as is. I don't. I need a little bit more depth. So like I said, bronzer, you can keep going in. Well, I normally tour just with the one bronzer, or like a contour palette that has a couple of shades that I can use, but I'm trying to make this travel friendly for myself, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to take a bronzing brush. This is the 109 small contour brush from MAC, and I'm just going to tap it in and pick up a little bit of that product, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much set that liquid bronzer that I have, but I'm going to keep it quite far out to the perimeters of my face so that I can kind of use it to like bronzer my face. So because we're putting powder on the liquid, we don't want to go in and start blending straight away. You want to push it in first. So I'm just going just underneath my cheekbone here, pushing that in, and once the product starts to leave the brush, that's when I'm going to just gently blend it out. I'm not going to bring it too far down because, like I said, I still want this to be like a really bronzy tan look, but I do want some definition. I need angles in my jaw, otherwise I look like an egg. So I'm just going to cut out my double chin, do that, and then just blend it out. Just by creating that shadow, I now look like I have some depth. Next up is highlighter. I normally like to travel with a palette of highlighter. That sounds very excessive, I know, but it just enables me to create custom highlighter, so I can do something super natural or something a little bit more bright and beaming for like nights that we go out. So my go-to is the Hyper Real Glow palette from MAC. This is the Flash and All palette that is like a vanilla pink, a rose gold pink, or pink pink, and then like a very light, this is actually rose gold pink. But anyway, it's my favorite palette. It does the most with a little, and it does a little with the most. I am going to be taking my Smashbox Buildable Cheek Brush, and I'm going to go in with the gold first, tap off the excess, and I'm just going to lightly pat this on that hush that we put down before, and then just kind of blend that into the bronzer. And then going to swap out to a JH42, which is a really small brush, and I'm going to pick up the Vanilla Pink and use that as an inner corner highlight, just because it is the brightest and most beaming shade. So I really need light in that area, of course. And then of course, good old faithful 286, I'm going to pick up the pink in the middle, and I'm going to use that as a brow bone highlight, just because this highlighter actually meshes really well with that tan pigment because they have the same sort of undertone. So that's pretty much the face. The last thing I do is I go in with a setting spray, set my face, and I push everything in with my sponge. I know that sounds odd, but I love it when it melts everything together. So the setting spray I've been using is Oh, my true pride and joy. I hardly use this, but since all my other setting sprays are finished or gave me an allergic reaction, I've been going in with this. This is the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Silk Mist. Let's do this. Oh, it just gives the finest mist. And while that's drying, I'm going to go over everything. Everything. Highlighter, bronzer, foundation, my lips. Just everything. I'm going to push that in. And it's just going to emphasize the glow in my face. How perfect. Now, here's the fun part. After all of that, you can put whatever lipstick color down you want. You can go nude, you can go color, you can go red, you can go purple, you can go pink, you can go glass, you can do a liquid matte. You can just leave it like this and put a lip chapstick down, which is sometimes what I do because at this point I am tired. But that's why I'm going to leave this empty, because your lip color you can decide for yourself, obviously. And that is that. This is the completed look that I normally 90% of the time will do for show. The minute I can streamline this and make this travel friendly, it's going to be the best ever, because this is a little bit more of a slightly high maintenance-y version of what I normally do. But like I said, I'll have so many videos of that coming out for when we do start touring again, which will be the end of September. But yes, so for now, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have other tutorials that are coming out. I've been making little sticky notes as we go of like things that have just come up into my mind that I would like to show you guys, so be sure to stick around for that. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to my channels. I will link them there for you or at the end of the video, so be sure to look out for that. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media on these handles, so that you can see like little bite-sized content. And until then, have a great day, and wherever you can, refer the Gypsy Caravan. Bye!